Hey everybody, this is Go Geronimo, and today I'm going to be showing you how to tiller a bow stave. I've been trying to figure out a way to do that in a perfect manner that after you watch the video you'll be able to do it right the first time. Well, that's kind of unpractical. Some part of learning how to make bows is the practice that is involved with it. But I'm going to show you the basics, show you what to look for, and then you're on your own. Alright. Not really. You can always ask me questions. Go to comments right on there and try to help you as best as possible. These are 7 things you have to do over and over again. So it's going to be brace the bow and place it on the tillering tree. We're on a slack line right now. Okay, so we put it on. We exercise the limbs 30 to 50 times. When you're starting out, the first thing you want to do is pull the string to where it just starts bending. Place it in that notch. And we're going to work it 30 to 50 times. Put it back in that notch. You don't want to go any further past that notch because we're working at 9 inches right now. We're not working at 10. Okay? So then we're going to place the string in the desired notch and level the bow. It's in the desired notch. You can use a level. Right now I'm just going to eyeball it. I think that looks kind of good. Evaluate the limbs for areas that need to be worked. So I'm going to come over here with you guys and I'm going to look for, I'm going to look at both the limbs, see if they're bending at the same height. I'm also going to look at each limb individually and look for stiff areas and hinges to work out. Then I'm going to take pencil. Let's play pretend. This is a pencil. I saw that there's a hinge right here. So I'm going to draw a line where the hinge starts and ends and put an X on it so that I know not to mess with that area. Now there's a stiff area over here. I want to remove wood there. So I'm just going to scribble on that bow with my pencil, knowing that's where I want to actually work it. And then, so that's mark areas with a pencil and unbrace the bow. So I'm going to unbrace it, bring it to the bench and clamp it. That's number 6. And then I'm going to use a block sander to remove the stock from the wood. We're just going to do that over and over again. We want to make sure we remove only a little bit at a time and repeat the process. That ensures that if say you're sandpapering the bow, you worked it too hard, now you got a whole new problem. You got a hinge in a new spot, okay? So always a little bit at a time, repeat the process. Now we'll go on 3 different stages. There's 3 different stages of bow tillering, and that's the slack line and then a braced line. Sometimes I do a semi-slack line and then a brace line, but usually it's slack line, brace line, or semi-brace line, and then full brace. So slack line, semi-brace, full brace. That's what I'm going to be showing you today. Now, I usually, like I said, start at maybe 1 or 2 inches past where it starts moving, the limbs start moving, alright, and then I'll work that out, and then I'll move 5 inches of string on slack line. So that means I'm going to work 9, make sure it looks really, really good before I move on to 10. Then I'm going to exercise it at 10. I'm going to work 10 on the bench until I get it to where I want it. Then I'll move to 11, do the same thing until I move to 5 inches. Then I'm going to semi-brace it or half brace it. Okay? But when I want to half brace it, I need to take this high-tech equipment. Just kidding. But there's many ways to do this. This is easy, it's simple. This is the way I do it. I'm going to go ahead and put it down on the ground. Place my tillering tree on there. Now, so at 9, so I moved to 14, okay? And now okay, and now I need to know what the weight is at 14 inches. So I pick it up, I put it back down, lift it off the notch and hold it in its spot. It says it's at 16 inches, or 16 pounds, sorry, at 14 inches. Of course, it's going to be different when you're working a bow that's not already been worked. It's going to probably be heavier. But 16 pounds is the important thing. Now, when I half brace it, I don't want to go back to 14 inches. I want to go to 16 pounds. So, let's go ahead and half brace it. Now, we're back here on half brace. I'm going to find that 16 pounds again. Okay, so about 12 inches now, as opposed to 14 inches, is 16 pounds. So that's where I'm going to start at my half brace. Now when I'm on half brace, I'm going to clear a lot of this length, okay? I usually go about to 24 inches. And it's important that every time you go to a new notch, you work that notch out as far as the limbs go until they look good before you move on to the next notch. We're gonna be clearing a lot of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We got 13 notches to go. Alright? Then when we go to full brace, you repeat the process I just did from changing from slack line to half brace. Same process. You're going to check the weight, and you're going to, at 24 inches, you're going to check the weight, then you're going to go back to full brace, and then we're going to find out where that same weight is, but now on full brace. That's going to be important, not to go back to the same length, but go back to the same weight, okay? Then we go and finish the job at full brace. Now that you know how to work that, let's go ahead and look at what we're supposed to be doing over here on this bench. Alright, so we're at the workbench here. You take your high-tech tool, wood block, sandpaper, and we're going to also have Mr. 4-Way hanging around. Barely ever use it though. And a Sureform, which I use a little bit sometimes. It helps. And why I think that this is a good tool is because it's got a flat surface. And if you have imperfections in your bow, some dents or something like that, this isn't going to conform to that dent. And so if you have just a piece of paper and you're sandpapering it, your fingers are pushing into those dents, so you're never actually removing that dent. You're just working the dent along with the rest of the bow, okay? So I like using a block. And that way, you're going to go past the dent, so you're not going to be actually sandpapering that dent, you're going to be sandpapering on the sides of that dent, and eventually it'll smooth out. So these are good. Sureform and 4-Way sometimes. If I'm really wanting to use a lot of or remove a lot of stock, especially in this first area right here, it's a typical place where you really need to remove a lot of stock at the beginning. So I'll sometimes use this, go sideways with it. It's the only time I ever go sideways. And then I'll go back over it with sandpaper. and smooth it back down. But we need to use one of these. These are going to be a BTF, okay, for you lawyers watching my video and using my method. If you don't use my method, I guess it's not going to hold true. But we'll clamp this sucker down. The high-tech tool. I have this area right here I want to remove wood from, okay? So, I'm going to take my sandpaper block and I'm going to go over it. Trying to apply pressure directly down, not to one angle or to another angle, because you're going to remove too much wood on the side instead of throughout. Okay, so pressure from the top. You're also going to want to have good lighting. I got a light right over the top of what I'm doing. Takes away the shadow. And you want to do that maybe 50, 60 times, 70 times, just depends on how much wood you think you need to remove. But remember, always take a little bit, check it, take a little bit, check it. That's the best method so that you can come out with a higher weight bow, okay? Now I mentioned, basically, if I mark an area and just rub it, I know I want to remove that. But say I have a hinge, I don't want to touch that. I usually will write like that, put an X, and I'll put lines in the direction that I should be actually tillering. That tells me don't touch and work those, okay? You guys basically take this, restring it, bring it back over to the tillering tree, work it, exercise the limbs 30 to 50 times, and continue this process. Alright, work both of these limbs while you have it on the bench, then bring it over, check it. Alright everybody, so I showed you how to use the tillering tree. I showed you my method for removing the wood on the bow. Now we're going to be talking about what do we look for and how do we fix a bow stave to bend correctly. You have hinges and you have stiff areas, which hinges are actually two stiff areas and a soft area or a weak area in the middle. My method basically is look for the stiff areas, remove stiff areas to make the bow bend the way I want to. And I don't touch the weak areas. So that's pretty much my method. We got our tillering tree up and we got a bow stave on it. We're also looking, here's my tape, right? We're trying to make sure that both limbs bend the same distance downwards. Okay, and then stiff areas, they're the areas that don't want to bend. Okay, so good tiller, hinge, stiff area. I mean, these are the kind of things we look for. And I could talk about this all day and all day, but I'm not really going to be able to cover everything. So basically, remove the wood from the stiff areas, leave the weak areas alone. Now on this one we have a good tiller on one side, stiff one on that side. We want to just work throughout on that right side, and eventually it will bend the same way on the left side. So just remember those key things. Remove the stiff area to make it bend equally. And remember to make sure both of them are at the same distance to the ground, I guess. And you just gotta try, and hopefully you get there. So that's how I work my bow stave. Don't forget to check that video. You can click here if you want to. I did a time lapse while I was making or working a bow stave, so that I could just give you a good demonstration on how you do it. I also added commentary. So between this video and that video, I think you're gonna have enough knowledge to get started tillering. But like I say, the practice is what really gets you good. So you might break a couple or whatever. Who cares? Continue, try hard, and you'll get there. Thanks for watching Go Geronimo. Click like, subscribe, share my videos. You can find me now on gogeronimo.com, where I have a link to my videos on YouTube. I have a link to my Instructables, and I post every now and then. I add my videos on there as well. Alright, thanks for watching. Bye.